live via Sky from Cape Town, South Africa, venue of the World Economic Forum for Africa 2015. China's business news anchor Harriet Agbeyin to us. Harriet, good morning to you, and we thank you for coming through.
Well, good morning, Wilson. Thank you so much.
Okay, it's good to see you. Okay, you're looking a bit lively. Those mufflers are gone. And thank you
it's a little warm inside.
Yeah, okay, a little bit warm in there. Okay. Okay, so brief us for a few minutes. What are we expecting for the final day of this three-day event? How has the last 2-3 days been in terms of those you've met, those conversations you've had, and a few others more that you wish to speak to regarding re-emerging in Africa now into the future?
Well, it's funny that you should mention that, because everybody here has been kind of excited about the fact that we have this kind of topic coming up at this time, reimagining the future of Africa. Because you see, there's so many challenges that Africa is dealing with right now. We're dealing with poverty, we're dealing with terrorism, we're dealing with corruption, we're dealing with the fluctuation in commodity prices. And so a lot of talk has been on how quickly can we begin to secure the future of our young generation. And it's been more of let's do implementation, let's do action, let's do strategies, and let's do less of talking. There's been a number of sessions, like the last session yesterday, Meeting the Development Challenge, that had the Foreign Minister of Finance for Nigeria, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and they talked about the fact that now that the Millennium Development Goals are going to be ending this year, and they should be looking at something that can push forward to begin to eradicate poverty, to begin to provide, to secure food, ensure that we have more food, securing agriculture the way it is, ensuring that we have more jobs created, having more inclusive growth, and the rest of it. And so we now have sustainable development goals that it's going to be launched sometime at the end of the year, and everybody is quite excited about it. Now, one of the sessions is actually ongoing right now, Silencing the Guns. We know that the issue of terrorism hasn't been quite far from militant attacks and all the rest, hasn't been quite far from countries in Africa. And so most of that particular session is going to be focusing on that. How can the government, how can the people, the private sector continue to start to work together to bring a kind of end to terrorism, or to get to a level where everybody is happy, a win-win situation for all. And so that session is ongoing. Hopefully, as soon as it ends, we'll get more on it. Of course, the Africa Competitiveness Report was also launched sometime today. We'll also get more on that, and get to speak to a couple of the participants who actually sat in on that press conference, and we'll talk more. Wilson.
Harriet, I'm sure in the coffee room, in the lobby and what have you, there'll be discussions here and there, loud voices, hushed tones about Nigeria's new president and where he goes next in terms of his economic and finance policies. I'm sure everybody in South Africa out there at the WEFA will be interested in where Nigeria head next. What are some of these things you may have gathered, what you call market hearsay?
Their cards are close to their chest, Wilson. But the truth of the matter is that they're quite optimistic that the policies that the last administration left will not be toppled, so to speak. There will be a continuity. And so they're hoping that their investments stay strong. They're hoping that the President Buhari administration will continue to focus on the other ones, but introduce new ways and strategies with which these policies can be implemented. They're very keen on bringing their businesses to Nigeria. Foreign investors are very, very excited about coming into Nigeria, but they're still not certain, because they're waiting for the president, to come up with his economic team and with his economic plan, and how this is going to affect their businesses going forward. So yes, the conversation has been on, yes, we're excited about the fact that President Buhari is a new president in Nigeria, but what are his plans? Is he going to have more technocrats and administrators in his economic team? Are they going to come up with policies that will favor domestic investors more than foreign investors? Most of the conversation has also been on the fact that we should look inward, not outside anymore. Let's talk about how Africa can generate the solutions. Let's talk about how Africa can solve its own problems. Let's talk about how Nigeria can solve its own problems. And so President Buhari, I beg your pardon, has a lot of eyes from the foreign sphere, from the African sphere, on him. Everybody's waiting to see what he's going to do next.
Okay, so let's talk about your host, South Africa, going through very significant or troubled times with regards to energy with ESCOM and things like that. Talk to us, you've been there for a couple of days. Are these concerns been expressed at the forum? This is Africa's second largest economy, has held the #1 position for a number of years. But talk to us about some of the things you've heard about South Africa and how this economy is pushing forward.
Well, funny enough, yes, it is the second largest economy in Africa, and they have their own challenges as well. But the companies here are quite excited about the prospects. They're talking to the government, and the government is giving some favorable response. But the investors are saying, how soon can we begin to see action? Because it's not just all about talk. We want to see action. We want our businesses to grow. We want our businesses to thrive. And so, yes, the conversations have been on. I haven't gotten round to listening too much, of those conversations, but it's looking like, it's not going to be business as usual going forward.
Harriet, we thank you for that. Anything else you have for today, keep them in the kitty. We'll get across to you later in the day on our regular news track as usual. And of course, Business Incorporated lunchtime. So grab a cup of coffee. Stay warm there. I'm staying warm right in here.
Thank you so much, Wilson.
So have a great day. Harriet again,
yes.
Channel's business news anchor, live to us via Sky from South Africa, venue of the 2015 edition of the World Economic Forum. Okay, now, the financial markets finished Thursday largely in Nigeria, and the red stocks down 1.2% as bellwethers in banks, oil and consumer goods post sharp losses. And we're heading in for the first weekend in June with a busy business agenda. Today, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries meet in Vienna, Austria, to take decisions among member states. And the meeting of the G7 most industrialized nations of the world hold tomorrow. Nigeria's new president, Muhammadu Buhari, is expected to attend this summit. And also on tap today is a meeting reportedly scheduled to hold in Abuja between the Petroleum Ministry officials and oil marketers over the prolonged petrol products scarcity. And the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has advised the new administration not to support the new ECOWAS European Union Economic Partnership Agreement, or EPA. The industrial body says the document as currently put together was structured to destroy Nigeria industry. There's more stories making the headlines right at the top of the hour here on Channels Television. I am Bosin Amafaye. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you lunchtime with Business Incorporated.